Okay, welcome to the live stream. Let's see here if we can get this framed a little bit better here. All right. Let's get this tilted down just a little bit. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, sweet. Thank you. Let's get this thing started. People will start rolling in right now, but hey, it's been a long winter, but we're back to riding bikes. The trails are pretty much all dried out in my area. For those of you who are not familiar, I am in Draper, Utah, about 25 minutes south of Salt Lake City, Utah. And man, it takes a minute for these trails to dry out after a big, heavy winter with a lot of snow. So, I also want to start by saying, I can't see the chat anymore. Is the chat still working, guys? Bill, is the chat still working? Okay. All right, I'll just carry on then. What I want to start out by saying is that, thank you to everyone who's been a subscriber for over 2 years now. I just can't believe I have a YouTube channel that people come and watch, and it's incredible. I just, for those of you who are newer to the channel, when I first uploaded my very first test ride and review video, I thought it would just go out into the abyss of YouTube and just disappear. And it didn't. People responded and they liked it, and I've had a good time doing it, and it's been fun. So anyway, if you're new, welcome. If you've been here forever, thank you. I also just want to say, thank you to Salt Cycles in Sandy, Utah. It's a local bike shop that they actually reached out to me about a year ago and said, hey, we really like what you're doing, and if we can help support you by getting you better deals on stuff that you need, we're happy to help. And there's been a couple other bike shops that have done that for me too, and it's been helpful. So anyway, if you're in the chat right now, tell us where you're from, tell me your name, where you're from, and kind of see if we got people all over the country here or what. I'm excited to talk about the Ibis Ripley tonight. Man, what a surprising bike. A quick story too is, let's look at the chat here actually, sorry. People in San Diego, Toronto, Chicago, San Diego again. Sydney, Australia. Wow, that's great. St. Louis, Buffalo, New York, Phoenix, Arizona, Minnesota, Gilbert, Arizona, San Jose, California. So for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, head over to Instagram and follow me on Instagram. That's a nice way to see in a more real time what bikes I'm riding, what I'm doing, and also on Strava is a good way to see what bikes I'm riding too, because that's where those ride reports go up on the Strava feed right away. Bike Steamboat, 3 dudes getting together for some yum yum in Bozeman, Montana. Hey, thank you for watching the channel. I'll lower this down just a little bit. Sorry, I don't mean to move it around, make everybody sick, but there we go. Just kind of frame that a little bit better. New Zealand. Wow. Christchurch, New Zealand. Someone just asked where I'm at. I'm in Draper, Utah, in the United States. Draper, Utah. JDAZ mountain biker. What's up, dude? Got a couple people in Utah here, Salt Lake City, Utah. So looks like the chat's starting to fill up here. I was hoping we get it over 100 here pretty soon, and we can kind of dive into this Ripley. Let's wait just a minute longer while people kind of come into the chat. But I want to say, if you follow me on Strava or on Instagram, you would have known that I was out in Santa Cruz, California about 2.5 weeks ago, riding with the marketing director from Ibis. How that all worked out is, so Salt Cycles is an Ibis dealer here locally in Salt Lake City, Utah, actually in Sandy, Utah. And they have a dealer day when their dealers have new bikes, where they'll fly out to Arizona for Pivot or to Santa Cruz, California for Ibis, or to Colorado for Yeti, and they'll get to ride a new bike before it actually comes out. And so Chris and Jason and a couple of the guys at the shop just couldn't connect with the dealer day and get out there. So Chris, the owner of Salt Cycles, thought, hey, let's send Yum out there in lieu of sending one of our employees or going ourselves. And so that's what happened. They bought me a plane ticket and sent me out there. I didn't actually go to the dealer day event because that just didn't work out, but I ended up going a couple days before that, and it was really cool to see Ibis's entire operation in their warehouse. It's unbelievable, the tests that they go through on these bikes. I'm sure lots of manufacturers of bicycles do the same thing, but I'd never seen that before, and it was really cool. I've got a video coming out. I would have published that video already, other than I had ridden the new Ripley while I was there, and so it was under embargo until, the 30th of April when they released it. And at any rate, I will be putting out that video probably in the next couple days or a week. A lot of my footage got ruined. The trails that I was riding there, for whatever reason, I kept hitting my gimbal either on the bars or my arm would hit the gimbal, and I'd end up filming my chin the whole time, so it was a disaster. Anyway, it looks like a couple more people are trickling in. What questions do you guys have about the Ripley? I can tell you right away, it was a really fun, super fun bike to ride. In fact, I still have it here. I'm going to be riding it for a little bit, and I think I'm going to buy one. I really liked it a ton. I don't know why I didn't mention this in the video. It didn't occur to me until I was editing the footage and also riding again yesterday down Jacob's Ladder. That bike reminded me a lot of the Rocky Mountain Instinct. It was the weirdest thing, but yeah, it had that same kind of light feel underneath my body. I could just move it around real easy. Okay, Mike S. has asked the question that I've probably gotten the most comments and questions about, which is SB130 or the new Ripley. Man, that's I don't know, it's an interesting question to me because to me they feel like pretty different bikes. I'm doing the Great Value ginger ale tonight because they were all out of Schweppes. I usually drink Schweppes, but they didn't have any. So the 130 just doesn't feel like it hops and scoots around the trail on the descents nearly as easily as the new Ripley. The SB130 feels like a bigger bike, more like the Ripmo, and I think a big reason why is that Fox 36 on the front. It just has a more planted, glued to the ground type of feel. I wouldn't say it was like dramatically more composed than the Ripley, speaking of the SB130, but it definitely, here's the thing. I don't think you're supposed to be putting a Fox 36 or a RockShox Lyric on the Ibis Ripley. In fact, I'm pretty sure their website says not to go over 140 millimeters of travel on the fork, otherwise you might void your warranty. So, but I would imagine that the Ripley would feel more like the SB130 if you overforked it to about 150 and rode it with a Fox 36 or a Lyric. That's my guess. I think that bike would be pretty dope set up like that. I'm not gonna do that to the bike I get, but it'd be pretty sick. It'd ride pretty rad. All right, let's get back in the chat here. We got trail features in here. Joseph, welcome, buddy. Thanks for moderating. Yeah, the SB130, Andrew Fisher says SB130 is a beefier ride. Yeah, definitely. The SB130 feels like a beefier ride. Probably not quite as big feeling as the Ripmo, but definitely bigger than the Ripley. In terms of climbing, none of those bikes, the Ripley, the SB130, they don't climb like this Ripley. They just don't. And look, I probably should have kept the stock tires that Salt Cycles got the bike shipped with. I should have kept those tires on the bike. It shipped with knobby Nick 2.6 rear and a hands damp 2.6 front. I probably should have demoed the bike like that, but I don't like that tire. I just want to ride it the way I would ride it. And so, I don't know, tell me what you guys think. Should I ride these bikes stock, or make some little adjustments to them? I mean, I hate riding some tires, that's for sure. Don says, if you had to choose one bike, Ripley or Ripmo, I would choose the Ripley, but that's a function of my trails and riding style. So I get that question asked a lot too, is what bike should I get? X, Y, or Z? And it's really hard, guys, for anyone to answer that question for you without them having some sort of base knowledge of your trail system that you ride most often, and like how fast you ride and what type of ride you're expecting to get when you go out. So it's like Bill is saying here, tires are an easy change to put on what you like. You know, tires can significantly change the bike. So another question people have been asking me is the Ripley or the Ripmo. And it's like, man, you throw a set of cross-country tires on both bikes and they might feel like they climb pretty close, I would guess. I think the Ripley would still climb better. JTH says Ripley or SB100. Okay, so I have a lot of time on an SB100 because I've owned one for like the last 9 months or 7 months or something. And that's a pretty rad bike for my trail system. Really flowy trails. Hopefully you guys watched the end of the footage of that video, because it had some footage of my buddy Tyler riding down Jacob's Ladder, so you can kind of see how parts of it are kind of chundery and 6 to 10 inch type of chattery sections, and then a lot of the lower stuff is really smooth. So the 100 is good for that section, but you definitely get overwhelmed. The SB100 definitely gets overwhelmed on Jacob's Ladder. You just are kind of hanging on for dear life. You know, I've ridden it so much that I feel comfortable doing it on that trail, but man, it's not ideal for that situation. It's good enough, but not ideal. Something like the Trail 429, this Ripley, that Rocky Mountain Instinct, that Giant Trance 29er are all good options for the type of trails that you see in my videos, right? Let's see here. Sorry guys, I haven't done a real good job of following the chat here. Am I moving off of the topic of SB130 and Ripmo too quickly? I am going to dive into, eventually here we're going to talk about the Trail 429 by Pivot, because that's probably the most relevant bike that I've had a lot of time on that I could kind of speak to. I can also speak to the Giant Trance 29. In fact, if you go to Giant's website and look at the Giant Trance 29, man, those geometry numbers are really close to the Ripley. Really close. Yeah, I don't know. And then the Evil, the following, also has kind of a similar geometry and similar amount of travel, but that bike was super heavy and it felt like it rode like a tank, like a bulldozer bike. Which for you guys got to remember also, man, I need to make a better point of saying this on my actual videos. I need to remind people on the videos that I'm 5'8", I'm a smaller rider, I only weigh 140 pounds, and that's relevant because if you're a bigger guy, you're 230 pounds or whatever a big guy is, you're gonna flex that bike, and that bike will feel different to you than it will to me. And so you need to take that into account when you hear what I'm saying in my videos. I need to do a better job of reminding people that I'm kind of small. If you're a bigger rider, you might really like the Evil, the following, because it's definitely a more stout bike. Same thing with the Pivot Trail 429. That bike is so stiff. It's not to say that the Ripley isn't stiff. It definitely is. It makes my SB100 feel kind of flexy, honestly. The Ripley does. But the Trail 429 is even more stiff and even a more burly bike. And so if you're a heavier rider, you might appreciate those characteristics. I'm always kind of when I'm looking for a short travel 29er, I want to build that sucker up as lightweight as I can. Like under 26 pounds for sure is like my goal almost every time. And so if you're a bigger rider, you might not appreciate that. One thing you'll notice swapping back and forth between the SB100 and the new Ibis Ripley, the 4th generation, because Tyler and I switched back and forth multiple times, like 5 or 6 times on the way up, and we did a couple laps on the way down, and we switched multiple times as well. You notice that forward seat tube on the Ripley, you're definitely sitting more over the crank arms, and it feels nice. I liked it. It was really nice. Brady Hall, I'm just hopping in the chat here. Brady Hall says you can buy a Yeti 4.5 for $1,200 less than a Ripley. What would you buy? Dude, the Yeti 4.5 is such a good bike. That was one of my favorite bikes. The only thing that kept me from buying that bike, honestly, and I love that bright green color they had like back in 2016, but the only thing that kept me from buying that bike is I had no place to put my water bottle, and I didn't like to wear a fanny pack in the summer, or a backpack for that matter, so I never bought it. But man, yeah, if you're in a lower budget and you don't mind an older geometry, that was a cool bike. The Ripley's better, much better. The SB100 is better than the SB 4.5. I've got a video about that. I mean, I think the SB100 is almost as capable as the SB 4.5. It's close. I wouldn't mind getting this camera a little bit more in front of me. Sorry guys, I don't mean to make you sick. There we go. All right, so let's talk more about the SB100 versus the Ripley, which I have had a ton of comments about that as well. The SB100 on the climb is, in my opinion, the most explosive off the pedals, like from a stop or, okay, picture this. You're coming, kind of bringing your speed down, coming into a hairpin turn, like a 180-degree turn, and so it's very, very slow. When you go through the turn and you come out and you get on the pedals, the SB100 is the most explosive, quick, out of the hole trail bike I've ever ridden. Without a doubt. It's like lightning quick. I feel like it's faster than the Rocky Mountain Elements that I've ridden. I rode a little while ago, I rode a Specialized that cross-country bike, and those are supposed to be pretty efficient bikes, but that SB100 is explosive on the climbs. Now, on long-seated, sustained climbs, I would say the Ripley is right there with it, like right there. I have a faster rolling set of tires on my SB100, so when we were doing the back-to-back ride a couple days ago between the Ripley and the SB100, the Ripley had a Maxxis DHR2 front tire, Forecaster rear, and this one has Bontrager XR4 and XR3 tires, which are really fast rolling. They just roll really fast. And so, it would be nice to have a control set of tires to really, really do these tests. I don't really have time to do that kind of stuff, but I guess if I had the same tires, that would help. Let's see here. What are you guys talking about here? A lot of people have asked me for a long sustained marathon race. Like people have asked me if I was doing, like, for example, the BC bike race, which bike would I rather have? And it's like, if I was only going to own one bike, I'd buy the Ripley, and the Ripley would be rad for like a multi-day stage cross-country race. It would be totally rad. The SB100 would be cool too, except for the SB100. The SB100 could not be my only bike. It's just not possible because I like to go and ride big, kind of scarier stuff, and I don't know, that's just not suited for that. So the Ripley could, and if it was my only bike, I would probably put a 140 mil fork on it. I think that would be pretty sick. Hey. So let's see here. I'm going to hop into the chat. I also want to say I've gotten, it's been such a long winter, I haven't been uploading as much. So now that I'm uploading again more regularly, which by the way, I got off the phone with the guy who's getting me the Mega Tower. So the Santa Cruz Mega Tower review should be coming out pretty soon. He just, he texted me today and said he'll have it at his bike shop in a size medium, like tomorrow or Saturday. So that should be coming soon. But I just wanted to say, a lot of people have been emailing me and DMing me on Instagram and other platforms like on YouTube, and just saying thank you for the helping with bike reviews and all this stuff. And I appreciate that. I always appreciate people reaching out to me and saying thank you. But the best way you guys can like show your appreciation is by liking my videos, turning on notifications, and sharing them with your Facebook groups or whoever, just to spread the word. My YouTube channel is not huge because I don't post a lot like a consistent YouTuber does. And so, and then if you're local here in Utah, support the bike shop that supports me. You know, go support Salt Cycles. And anyway, I appreciate everyone reaching out to me and telling me thanks and everything. So thank you. All right, what's next? Let's see here. Hey Yum, the new Ripley is almost an exact clone of the Transition Smuggler, except for the suspension platform, okay? So I've had a lot of people ask me about the Transition Smuggler. I've not had a chance to ride transition bikes. They're not very popular in Utah for whatever reason. Oddly enough, Salt Cycles is a transition dealer, but they don't have like on the floor a ton of bikes. They might have a couple transitions. Most of their shop is filled up with Yeti, Pivot, and Ibis, and Cannondale actually. And so I need to talk to Chris at Salt Cycles and see if he can get a transition smuggler in for me to demo. I have a GT sensor right now, right here. I have a GT sensor right there. There's the Ripley. I have a GT sensor that I need to demo. Joseph, you could appreciate that, couldn't you? Isn't that the bike you're riding? So yeah, I'm going to start getting more time on different bikes this year for sure. Mike Weber, what is up, dude? How's the new Santa Cruz? All right, let's hop back in this chat. SB130 or Pivot 429? Man, I'd probably go with the Pivot myself, but I don't know. Brady Hall with the $10 super chat. Dude, thank you so much. That helps a ton. I really appreciate that, man. If you have any questions, let them rip. Let's see if we can answer them. How's the new sizing on the Ripmo? Or excuse me, on the Ripley? Chuck's asking how the sizing is on the Ripley. The medium felt awesome. I ran it with a 40 millimeter stem. It has, what, 450 millimeters of reach, which is kind of long for a medium. But again, that seat tube angle at 76 degrees is just puts you that much closer to the bar, so it felt totally good. Someone else said, JTH says, yeah, 34 step cast on the Ripley. I think the guys at Santa Cruz said that's totally good to go. 120 mil step cast, that would lighten that bike up. My bike weighs, the one that I'm demoing here, it's the Shimano XTR build. I think that's their most expensive build. And it came in at 25 pounds, 5 ounces without pedals in a size medium. Let's see here. Oh, Joseph is telling me on the sensor, the GT sensor that I'm going to ride, I need to set it up with less sag. Noted. Thanks, dude. Okay. Any plans to demo some trail hardtails? No dice. There's a guy doing a YouTube channel called Hardtail Party. Steve is his name. Go check out his website. Mike Weber says, I'm loving my blur with a 120 millimeter fork. I imagine it's somewhat similar to the SB100. Yeah, I would imagine so. Jay Wood saying, come on, be honest. Trance or Ripley, price-wise? Dude, the price on these Ripleys are not bad, man. Go do a GX build Ripley. In fact, here, I'm going to pull it up on my computer right now. You can build an Ibis Ripley to be super good. In my opinion, a really good deal. You click on the GX build, that's $48.99. And I'm super happy with that suspension. The Fox 34 Performance fork has the Charger 2 damper in it. That thing's sweet, man. That's a good fork. In fact, I honestly think it probably rides better than the Fit 4 fork. I'm being dead serious here. You don't get the Kashima, but dude, I would totally rock this bike. $48.99. You're gonna have a hard time finding a better bike for $48.99 than this GX build Ripley. And then you could put on some lightweight carbon wheels and some faster rolling tires. At least I would. And then I would maybe swap out the Shimano Dio. What dropper post does it come with? Dude, it comes with a bike yoke. How do you beat that, man? How much is a Giant Trance with similar, performance suspension? That's a good deal for that Ripley. Pablo, thank you for the super chat, man. I really appreciate that. He says, thanks. You helped me a lot in the decision making of buying a bike. I was the one asking Ripley versus the SB100. Nice. Oh, for the race up in Canada. Okay. Yeah, man. I could go either way, but I would personally lean toward the Ripley if it was going to be my only bike, for sure. Bill's saying Ibis lets you upgrade the suspension parts without going full XO1 or XX1 or XTR. Dude, that's totally right, man. I think that's one of the coolest things about Ibis. And I'm not like an Ibis fanboy. I've only ever owned one Ibis. If anything, if you guys don't know already, I'm a Rocky Mountain fanboy. I freaking love those bikes. But I love DW Link. I like Ibis. I think their website is awesome that they let you add in carbon wheels on a GX build. Change out your suspension. Change out carbon handlebars. I'm sure if you worked with the right shop, they'd let you swap out better brakes or a different dropper post or whatever, whatever you need. Thank you for the super chat, Pablo. I appreciate that. I don't know how much $50 in Mexico is, but whatever it is, thank you. Okay. Any chance of demoing the Noli Fugitive? No, dude. I held one in person. That frame, no offense, was super heavy. And I know that weight is not the end-all, be-all. I get that. Having heavy bikes is not the end of the world, but still, that thing was super duper heavy. All right. Oh, Ross is telling me the Charger 2 is on the RockShox. That's right. What's on that? What dampers in the that Fox Performance fork? If somebody knows, put it in the comments there. I'm going to look it up real quick. I thought it was the grip damper. Yeah, grip. Ross. That's right. Man, Ross is the money guy. Ross gets the kudos for being the quick guns on suspension. That's right. It's the grip damper, which I really liked over the Fit 4. Anybody else experience that? They like the grip damper better than the Fit 4? Fit 4 can sometimes feel a little harsh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being picky. Let's see. Man, just like 20 people just weighed in. 184 people in the super chat right now. 187 people. Man, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing it and hitting the like button, everyone. Jason Santos, $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. He says, I'm 330 pounds. Wow, dude, good for you getting out on the bike. Got into mountain biking this year and doing it as a hobby and making it as a lifestyle to lose weight, hopefully lose some more. You're my inspiration. Man, Jason, thank you so much for saying that. I thank you. I'm humbled to hear that. Yeah, I mean, it's a great time to be a mountain biker. I've been mountain biking in fact, it's the funniest thing. When I was in Santa Cruz, I ended up riding bikes with Mo from Awesome MTB YouTube channel. Mo Awesome. Really this bigger than life personality, just really fun personality to be around. He's got his big hair if you haven't seen him. Anyway, we're talking and he's telling me about how he got into mountain biking, and it was like in his first or second year of college, and the guy's 26 years old. And I'm like starting to do the math, and I'm like, okay, so I got my first bike the year Mo Awesome was born when I was 11. So I got my first mountain bike when I was like 11 years old. And I had mountain bikes, or not mountain bikes, but bikes before that I'd go ride around on the dirt and stuff. And my first mountain biking when I was 11 years old. So I've been mountain biking for, oh geez, I'm 37, so 26 years, I guess. Let's see here. Silver Crown says, I love the grip damper. Yeah, totally. Let's see here. Chris Woodard says, what are your favorite tires to ride in my area? So if you live in Colorado or Utah, or even those trails I rode in Santa Cruz, they were pretty similar. A lot of the trails there were kind of similar to the terrain I have here, but there was also some better dirt there in Santa Cruz too. I don't know if that was loam or not. I've never ridden loam, I don't think, but maybe it's loam-ish. I don't know. But it's kind of loose kitty litter, like kind of loose dirt over a hard surface. And my favorite tires, I really like the DHR2 front tire for a lot of grip and more protection. But all last year, I rode for a long time on my Rocky Mountain Instinct a set of Ardent Race by Maxxis. Maxxis Ardent Race is a 2.35 tire. It's got really consistent outside lugs, and then the transition lug that goes, I should do a review on some tires. I just don't take the time to do it. But the transition lug onto the outside lug is really consistent. That's what I look for in a good tire, by the way, guys, is those two lugs, the way they associate with each other or communicate, associate with each other. So when they transition, you can feel the transition going from grip to a little bit less grip, and so you can feel it. That's what I like about a good tire. But I love the DHR2 front tire a lot. Let's see here. Serpent76 says, hey, Jay, you don't need a money super chat. I don't know what that is. Jay Wood, is the best time to be a mountain biker. Yeah, that's right. It's a better time to be a mountain biker now than any other time. In fact, I was going to say that to James Santos, who's just getting into riding. Getting into riding today is far and beyond a better time than any other time in the past. I had my first mountain bikes didn't have disc brakes. And so my first mountain bike that had disc brakes, it was a huge difference. But man, having a dropper post, tubeless tires and wheels, I mean, that's amazing. Those two things right there, being able to run lower air pressure and not pinch your tube because you don't have a tube in there, that's like the best thing. Dropper posts are amazing. And disc brakes, those three things. I mean, heck, you could have a hardtail. You could have a $700 hardtail with maybe not 700, whatever. I don't know how much hardtails cost, but a hardtail that has tubeless wheels and tires, a dropper post, disc brakes, and a air suspension fork, you're off to the races in mountain biking, man. How could you do any better than that? And then we have these bikes. I mean, just look at this. It's absolutely insane what I have sitting in my house right now. If my 11-year-old self could see me, I've got my HD4 here, got my SB100, I've got my road bike, I'm demoing this GT sensor, got a couple little rides on it, not enough rides to do a video yet. And I've got this Ripley that I have for a couple weeks. Or whenever I decide to take this back to the bike shop, is I have it that long. So whenever I take it back, it's like unbelievable. It's like Christmas every day over here at my house. It's amazing. Let's plug this back in so the battery doesn't die. Yeah, I mean, these these full suspension mountain bikes are incredible. Just totally incredible. All right, let's get back into this chat. Okay, Andrew Fisher says a good hardtail's around $1,000. All right, that makes sense. Jay Wood says MTB is my new love. It used to be golf. Nobody golfs anymore, dude. I haven't golfed in like years. I just don't golf anymore. I don't have time for it. It takes too long. Eric says, is Crest open? So in Utah, there's a trail called the Crest Trail. In fact, if you watched my video with, it wasn't my video, it was Brian's. It was Brian Kennedy's video over on BKXC. He came and rode Crest with me. That's Crest Trail. There's a joke that everybody asks when it's going to be open. It's buried under like 5 feet of snow right now. So I have a question. Maybe you guys can all put in the chat here. I also get a ton of requests from people saying, why don't you ever ride affordable bikes? Why don't you have a $2,000 bike review or a $3,000 bike review? And the easy answer is, I just ride whatever bike shops have for demo or whatever bike manufacturers' demo vans, when they show up, have in their demo truck. And oftentimes, the demo bikes are their top tier bikes because they want the customer, the consumer, to experience the very best available product. So that's why I don't get a demo like $3,000 bikes very often. I mean, this GT Sensor, I think it's like a $4,000 bike. I think it's their carbon one. I don't know what it is, but I think you can get a good bike. Like, do you guys remember the giant trances I rode? That giant trance was an aluminum frame for like $2,800, and I loved the bike. I thought it was super fun. So if you guys don't mind posting, what's an affordable bike in most people's eyes? And look, everyone's different. If you're a 17-year-old kid, maybe $2,000 is the most money you can earn in a summer to buy a bike. I don't know. I didn't have a $2,000 bike in high school, that's for sure. I had a $800 bike. A Trek 6500 is what I had. But yeah, post up in the comments here. I want to see what people spend on their bikes. Most of the guys I ride with spend a lot of money on their bikes. Affordable bikes are for losers. Oh, come on. What is affordable? Yeah, it's a good question. Bikes stay expensive. Okay, let's see here. Whoa! J33P Adventures says up to 12,000. Are you talking about American dollars? Man, I have my SB100 like every single option, and it's not $12,000. That's crazy, man. Nick Anzo says $5,000. Yeah, that to me seems like for about, I don't know, probably about like $3,000 or $4,000 you could probably get a pretty good bike. I would imagine. Kurt says, if I'm paying $12,000, it better have a motor. That's awesome. Okay, Trail Talk MTB. I've never seen you before, but you made a good comment. I feel at $3,000, beyond $3,000 is what he's saying. So Trail Talk says beyond $3,000, there's diminishing returns. I agree. You know, you could, because here's the reality. You could spend $7,000, $8,000 and still have a 28, 29 pound bike. Those $3,000 aluminum giants, they weren't they weren't more than 30 pounds, and they were totally capable bikes. So $3,000, maybe that's the magic number. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Luke's Workshop says, are you going to review the Fazari La Salle Peak? I've had a lot of people ask me if I'm going to demo that bike. Yeah, I just need to get my hands on it. I think the reason why a lot of people ask me if I'm going to demo that bike is because they're built, or the company is in Utah. Let's see here. Okay, Bike Steamboat says, get back to the Ripley versus the Instinct. Thank you for bringing us back full circle to that, Bike Steamboat. So the Instinct has been, if you're not familiar with my channel, it has been, in my opinion, the best do everything one bike you can own. It's 140 millimeters front and rear. It came out almost 2 years ago, and it has a 75.5 degree seat tube angle in the steepest position with like a, I had it up on my computer here because I knew we were going to talk about it. So you can get a 75.5 degree seat tube angle and a 67 degree head tube angle. So Rocky Mountain has a Ride 9 setting. You can adjust the geometry ever so slightly. That's one thing I really like about that bike. It was one of the first bikes with a steeper seat tube angle and still is a decently slack head tube angle. And the bike, my bike with pedals, weighed 26 pounds, 10 ounces. For 140 millimeters of rear travel, of 4-bar link, horse link travel, that's amazing. I think that's amazing. So for me, that was the bike. I replaced that bike with a Pivot Trail 429 that I could not get. I lost 20 millimeters of rear travel and 10 millimeters of front travel, but I picked up a superior suspension platform in DW Link with Pivot. So I replaced the Instinct, and I couldn't get the weight down to 2610. In fact, I think I got it down to like 27 and 3/4 pounds, or 27 and a half. I just couldn't get the weight down. But that Pivot, that DW Link on that Pivot is magical. It's just, and it's a Super Boost rear end, so it's super stable and stiff, and just, it railed the corners like a, it was amazing. It was a really fun bike. And so, but I didn't think it was better than the Instinct. Not to me. Then I got the SB100. That's a different category, kind of just doesn't hang with the Instinct. So now coming back to this Ripley, I think I've got about 65 or 70 miles on this Ripley now. And I think the Ripley might be the better bike between that and the Instinct. It's been a minute since I've ridden the Instinct, but I think it's maybe the better bike. It comes in a little bit lighter weight, and I love DW Link, man. It feels a little better, you know? Trail Talk says, I feel the Instinct's a hair too short. Yeah, it's kind of short. It's a little bit shorter in the reach. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. The reach is a little shorter in a size medium. It's like 435. So it's 15 millimeters shorter than the Ripley, which is 15 millimeters, just to put this into perspective, is about a half an inch. What, 24 millimeters in an inch, as I recall? So, God, here's the thing, dude. We're literally splitting hairs here. Like, all these bikes are just so amazing. I don't know, man. Let's see here. Anyway, Steamboat Bike, what was it? Steamboat, Bike Steamboat. Look, the Ripley climbs better than the Instinct. There's no denying that. The previous Ripley climbed better than the current Instinct. So Ripley wins in climbing department, in my opinion. Although I still have my fastest uphill climb time on the climb that I climb the very most often in my trail system, a trail called Canyon Hollow. I still have my fastest time on my Rocky Mountain Instinct with Maxxis Ardent Race tires on there. So I need to go throw some faster tires on this Ripley and go hammer some climbs and see if I can get some new PRs. Anyway, descending, the Ripley is right there with the Instinct, maybe, easily just as good, maybe better. And it's a lighter weight bike. So it wins, in my opinion. But, I got to put some more miles on it. Can you long stroke the Ripley? You know what? When I was in Santa Cruz, we talked to them a little bit about that. I don't know. I don't know what the story is on that. Chuck Proctor brings up a good topic here. What do you think about Yeti's Switch Infinity suspension versus DW Link? He says he loves DW. Yeah. My first experience with Switch Infinity was the Yeti SB 4.5. And mind was blown. I thought it was such a cool bike. I was just really blown away by it. I think if I was going to own bikes more long term, I don't own bikes for much more than 6 to 9 months most of the time. If I was going to own bikes more long term, I would be more interested in owning a DW Link bike or a Horse Link bike over the Switch Infinity. Not that I have any problems with Switch Infinity. I haven't experienced any problems with it at all. But my buddies who own Yetis, they do spend more time taking their bikes apart. I've never owned one long enough to have to take it apart, but my buddy Matt Bailey has an SB6 that I know he's fixed it up a couple times. So chalk that up to whatever you think it's worth. Mike Hicks says, go climb on a giant Anthem and let me know if you think it's fast. Of course it's going to be fast, but I don't want to have to ride the Anthem. At least the Anthems that I've ridden in the past, I didn't like. Maybe they changed. Maybe the Anthem's an all new bike. I don't know. Keaton Anderson says, I also live in Utah. What's your favorite place to ride? My favorite place to ride is probably St. George, Utah. Every time I go down there, I'm just blown away at the scenery. I mean, there's so many different reasons why we ride, right, guys? Like, it's like a lot of us ride for fitness, to stay in shape. That's an excellent reason to ride, but a lot of us ride because we just love ripping trails or climbing hard trails or whatever. But it's about getting out there every once in a while. I mean, these rides I do in the morning before work, it's fun to go hang out with some friends before work and chit chat and rip up some trails and get some exercise. But the really good rides are the ones where you go out for several hours, get lost out on a trail, be out in nature. I mean, I don't want to go all Buddhist on you here, but yeah, that's what it's all about. Just freeing your mind of all of life's troubles and getting out on the trail. Oh, man. Yeah, I like St. George. There's a lot of good trails up in Park City, too, in Deer Valley. Let's see here. Bill says negative on the lock shock. The link's too close to your seat tube. Nice job, Bill. Let's see here. Texas has the best trails. Never been to Texas. What's the best trail in St. George? Man, it's tough to beat Zen. Got some good climbs, really some tough climbs, and good descents. I also love riding Barrel. That's a lot of fun. Matt, so Matt says, I've got a Yeti SB 4.5 with no issues with the Switch Infinity after 3,500 miles. All right, well, there you go. There's a Yeti owner with a good experience. I'm sure Matt's just tinkering with, my buddy Matt's probably just tinkering with his Yeti stuff. I don't know. Maybe it works just as good and just as long as any other suspension platform, right? Okay. Rich says, can you ride a DPX2 on the Ripley? So right now, Fox doesn't make a DPX2 with the correct length shock length, eye to eye, to fit into the Ripley. So I guess technically the answer would be no, you can't ride a DPX2. However, even if you could, unfortunately, it will not fit the way you think it would. Sorry to walk around with the camera again and make everybody sick, but let me just show you this real quick. So, do you see here on my HD4 how the piggyback is above the shock here? Which, by the way, if you guys haven't seen my custom painted HD4, there it is. You cannot run it like this on the Ripley. From what I understand, there's not enough room, let's see if the camera's right, in this area here to run the shock, the piggyback right there. That's just what the person at Ibis told me. It's my understanding you'd have to run it with the piggyback below right here, and then you wouldn't have room for this water bottle. So, I don't know. Consider that. The pivot trail fits the DPX2 just fine. The Trail 429. All right. I have a question for everybody. Who is excited or interested in SRAM access? Is that something that you guys are looking forward to? Do you want to try? As the comments filter in here, and we can start reading them, but I want to hop up into the chat here too. Michael says, heck no, he's not interested in SRAM access. Interesting. Bike Steamboat says he's not excited for access, but has no experience. Bill says no interest in electronic shifting. All right, well, there you go. Joseph's plugging his GT sensor again. Plenty of room for a piggyback on the GT. Dude, you need to get GT to start sending you some money or something, or a free bike or something. Hey, I'm gonna put some more time on this GT and we can talk about it. Shred Before You're Dead. Man, what a good handle. How'd you get that, man? Shred Before You're Dead says when the price comes down on access, he'll be interested. Dan says electronic shifting has good potential. All right, well, I think I'm going to give it a try. Salt Cycles is going to put it on my SB100, I think, and let me go cruise around on SRAM access. David Condon says, have you tried XTR Di2? Nope, not yet. I want to go scroll up in the comments here. I missed a comment. Someone asked me about my altitude. My Rocky Mountain altitude. Okay, Silver Crown 88 says, what's your final verdict on the Rocky Mountain altitude? Dude, that bike is a ripper for a 27.5 bike, which it doesn't seem like very many people are interested in 27.5 bikes anymore. I'm super interested in those bikes. I think they're rad. The Rocky Mountain altitude was probably my third favorite bike, second or third favorite bike from last year that I rode in 2018. But it was my favorite 27.5 bike. So my top 3 bikes from last year, guys, I should make a video about this. My favorite bike from last year, hands down, put the biggest smile on my face. And I'm riding the same trails all the time. This is not because of a specific trail that I rode that made me super stoked on the bike. Hands down, favorite bike from last year, Yeti SB150. Dude, if you haven't, you should. That bike is just mind-blowingly fun. Like, it's super, super fast. You feel like, I've never ridden a downhill bike, but I'm guessing it probably feels kind of like that. SB150, that bike was crazy good. Second favorite bike was probably the Ripmo. Yeah, probably the Ripmo. I didn't buy either one of them because where the heck am I going to ride an SB 150? Like, I just don't ride trails like that need that much bike. But ripping down Jacob's Ladder at like 35 miles an hour, dude, it was like amazing. Which, by the way, I want to talk about my trail system real quick. So Jacob's Ladder, hopefully in the Ripley video, you guys watched it toward the end. I don't know if you guys watched the videos all the way toward the end or not, but if you did, I included some third-person footage of me filming Tyler rip down sections of Jacob's Ladder. And I think Tyler's hit 41 miles per hour, according to Strava, on Jacob's Ladder. I think my fastest time is 37 miles per hour in that 2-minute and 30-second segment, right? So that trail is like high speed. It's got all the right stuff on it. That's why I keep testing bikes on it. So if you guys are getting sick of watching that footage, I don't know, you're going to have to watch other people's channels for bike footage, I guess. Let's see here. Nick Anzo asked me, why are you so happy? Everybody's happy. Everybody in this chat right now is happy. Nick Anzo, just go get yourself some ginger ale. Pour yourself a glass of this great value ginger ale from Walmart, and you'll be happy. That's the secret to life. Get a good drink and be happy. How does the Peter J says, how does the SB 150 climb? It climbs like a monster truck, big bike. I mean, for how big of travel it is, it climbs pretty good. It doesn't climb as good as the Ripmo. The Ibis Ripley definitely climbs better. Eleanor is asking, Ripley or Trance 29er? We already talked about that a little bit. Trance 29er is a cool bike. Do I know the reason why I don't like the Trance 29er as well as the Ripley? Because it comes with all the proprietary bullcrap giant parts. That's the same reason why I don't like Trek bikes. Because it's going to come with like a Bontrager dropper post probably, or I don't know what it comes with, but I know that Trance 29er that I rode, I'm pretty sure it had like some proprietary giant dropper post that was like, the shifter was super annoying. Sorry to be a little negative there, but I don't like the proprietary crap that comes on Specialized, Trek, Giant, and Cannondale. Boo. I hate all that stuff. Yeah, SB 150 wasn't the world's greatest climber, but man, you don't ride that bike for the climbing. You ride it. It gets you to where you need to go, no problem. That's the story. It climbs well. It's not as good as the SB 100 though. Okay, let's get down here further in the chat. Andrew Fisher says, Derek, nice man, I still have a 26 or two. Derek and Kurt and Andrew all are riding 26ers. It's almost the same as a 27.5, isn't it? In overall diameter. Okay, MTB FL, MTB Florida guy. He says, have you tried a 29er front and 27.5 rear? Dude, my buddy Tyler was just talking to me about this the other day. He wants to take my HD4, pull the fork out and brake and everything, and just plug his Fox 36 and 29er wheel right into it and go ride the HD4 for a week or two with a 29er front, 27.5 rear. That might be pretty cool because the bottom bracket on the HD4 is already pretty low. So the fact that you're raising it up is not too bad. I don't know. I think that maybe we'll do that. That would be pretty sick. Jonathan, he says, I'm happy. Trail Talk says he's happy. Sparko says ginger ale or wine. Nice. I've never had wine. Mountain Bikin says, don't worry, be happy. Ginger ale doesn't give you gas. I drink this stuff like every night. It's like 170 calories too. Oh, 140 in this one. I think Schweppes is 170 calories. All right. How are you guys liking the chat so far? I never know what to do in these live streams. We've got almost 200 people in here for like the last 45 minutes. Is this worthless? Is it useful? Am I answering your questions? Do you feel like it's valuable? I enjoy doing it other than just sitting in my house talking to myself like a crazy person. If you like it, hit the like button. We're at 48 thumbs up right now. If you enjoy the live chat, hit the thumbs up so I know that this is worth it and we'll do it more. Ask me more questions about the Ripley because we're probably, I don't know how much, maybe we'll do this for a while longer. I don't know how long to do it. Let's see here. Everyone says good stuff. Hey, Flying Tiger. I like hanging out with you too, bro. Okay, Bike Steamboat says, in my last video, where was the jump line, or the chat's moving too fast, or the trail and jump track? That's just right there at the parking lot of where all my trails are in Draper, Utah. It's called the Orison High parking lot or something. Yeah. Tyler Marshall says, I want to see Yum Yum hit 100,000 this year. 100,000 subscribers? That'd be cool. Here's the problem, guys. I don't have a logo. I don't have like a brand or font or anything. I need to start taking YouTube more seriously. I just kind of put up videos whenever I get some time. I need to become a YouTuber. I need to embrace YouTube with some energy. I'm too busy doing all my other stuff. Mr. Hicks says, M. Hicks says, Jason, do you like riding plus bikes? Dude, where have you been? I do not like riding plus bikes. I hate plus bikes. Every time I've ridden one, I've crashed them. Uh-oh, someone's calling me. Sorry, guys, I don't know how to turn that off. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I film everything on my phone. That's proof that I'm not a real YouTuber. I need to become a real YouTuber. I have never bought like a good camera. All I have is my little GoPro Hero 4 Black and my gimbal, and I use my phone for everything else. Dan says the chat is great. Thanks, dude. Tyler Marshall, I want to see MTB Yum Yum hit 100,000 subscribers too. That would be sick. That means I'd have 100,000 disappointed people every winter because I get so many comments from you guys saying, where are you? Where have you been? How come you're not uploading? Dude. Michael Glidewell, T-Mobile phone? Yeah, I think that's just the standard T-Mobile ring that came on my Samsung. I don't know, dude. Also, I always wonder how old the people are on these chats too. Are you guys my age? I'm 30. I just turned 37. Okay, what are you guys saying in the chat? Oh, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm an influencer, is what Trail Feature says. I don't know that I'm an influencer. Yeah, Jake's asking me about my stem lengths. I almost always use a 40 mil stem. I don't really care how much the reach is. It's not like I'm racing these bikes. I don't mind if it's 10 or 12 millimeters difference. I mean, you got to remember 15 millimeters or whatever, 12, 13 millimeters is a half an inch, I think. It's not that big of a deal. Mario says, would I like the Ripley for Moab trails? Yes, I would. I think it would be rad. Andrew says, your reviews are great, man. I think it's really good how you get to do all these comparisons using the same trail system. Yeah, thanks, man. That's what I thought too. Kind of has a control trail. Yeah. Okay. Oh, here's everyone's ages. Sweet. Hey, I'm further ahead in the chat than you guys are. Tyler Marshall. Okay, so lots of 30-year-olds, 50-year-old. Chuck Proctor, you're 51. Sweet. Mike C's 53. Tom Stringer's 48. Quinn's only 16. Dude, if you're 16, you need to go get in bed. You probably have school tomorrow, man. Scuba Steve, cool handle, 46 years old. Nice. Trail Features 33, balding with a dad bod. You can fix that, you know. Ross Orton's 49. Peter J is 49. Look, I'm going to say something that you guys are all thinking. So I watched, what YouTube channel was I watching? I was watching this YouTube channel. This guy said how he just turned 40. And let's get that off the screen. And I remember looking at the YouTube thing, at the screen thinking, yeah, he looks 40. But I was looking at him with my 22-year-old eyes. That's the problem, guys. My eyes still tell my brain that I'm 22, and I look at the world like a 22-year-old because I feel more fit, stronger than I was when I was 22. I've got more money, more time, more happiness. I love, my kids and my wife. I've just got I've got more life experience now that I'm 37. But then I realized, holy crap, I'm like the same age as him. I went and looked in the mirror. I'm like, fetch, I look exactly like this 40-year-old. But I was looking at him with my 22-year-old eyes. Do you guys ever do that? It's pretty stupid. Michael Glidewell's 53. Hey, Dan Thompson, 60 years old. Your oldest dude in the chat. Welcome. Flying Tigers. Yeah, my eyes are 22, except that I'm farsighted now. Maybe what I'm saying about my eyes being 22 doesn't make sense, but anyway. All right, let's get back on topic here. Sorry, man. Yes, biking steamboat. I just used the word fetch. It's a Utah word. It's in lieu of the F word. Even though Mormons don't think it's actually in lieu of the F word, it really is. So, yeah, we use the word fetch. It's totally stupid. Derek Smith says, I quit bouncing off the ground when at 37. I don't know if I'm feeling any I don't feel like I'm holding myself back yet at 37. I do know that a year ago, I rolled my ankle and it took 6 weeks to finally start feeling better. So I am noticing that my little injuries are kind of taking a longer time to get me feeling better. But yeah. Oh, great. Now we're on Mormon topics. Oh my gosh. How did we get here? I've clearly not been a responsible host here. If we're now talking about Mormonism in the MTB Yum live stream. Jeez. All right. This is not a Mormon Q&A. We use the word fetch. That's the end of the discussion. Do you need members of the Church of Jesus Christ? Oh my gosh. Okay. Bike Steamboat just says, do you mean member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? So the president of the church, the leader, the prophet guy, he has recently come out and said, let's move away from the term that we are Mormons. We are of Jesus Christ's fold. We should be called by his name, which is the actual name of the Mormon church, which is Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so, Bike Steamboat, I'm guessing, are you Mormon? I'm guessing you're Mormon because you recognize to say that. Anyway, it's kind of funny. So people will sometimes refer to, anyway, it's stupid. All right, let's get back on track here. Okay, Linux Rick says, talk about the Ripley. I just ordered one after watching your review. Great channel, by the way. Thank you. I'm glad that you ordered one. I think you're going to be stoked on it. The Ripley, like a lot of other bikes, in fact, let's list the other bikes. So you got the Ripley, the current Ripley, the Pivot Trail 429, the Rocky Mountain Instinct, even though it's a little bit more travel, I feel like it's in the same category. You got the Pivot Trail 429, you got the Giant Trance 29, and the Evil Following MB are a couple of the bikes that I've ridden that I would say all kind of fit in the same category. I've also ridden the Trek Fuel EX, but I didn't love that bike. And other bikes that I've not ridden would be like this GT Sensor. I haven't done a review on that. The Cannondale Habit, although I think that's a little bit longer travel. And the Transition Smuggler. So I would say those are a category of bike that are kind of made to just say, here you go, everyone. Pretty much wherever you ride, you're going to be happy on this bike. Mario's saying the Hightower is in the same category. You know, the Hightower would be if they didn't put a Fox 36 on it. I thought that was really dumb by Santa Cruz. When they came out with the Hightower LT, they switched from a RockShox Pike to a Fox 36, but they also had a Fox 36 on the Santa Cruz Hightower LT. They should have, at that point, in my opinion, lowered the overall weight and feel of the bike and moved to a Fox 34, in my opinion, or stayed with the Pike. Anyway, this category of bike is, in my opinion, the best category of bike for most people because it can go out and do everything well. It's not like a racy, short travel, race bike that's terrible to ride most of the time, in my opinion, like a Cannondale Scalpel. Give me a break. I don't want to ride that thing all day. But it's not like, the SB 150 by Yeti. That thing is a monster truck. So I like this category of bike a lot. I think I'll probably always own a bike kind of in that category. Let's see here. Trail Week says Ripley versus the 5010. Sorry, man, I'm not going to take the time on that. It's they're too different, in my opinion. What attributes did you want to upgrade or trade up for that made you leave your 5010? Okay, yeah. So the bike that I had when I started this channel was the Santa Cruz 5010. The reason why I bought that bike is because it felt like a BMX bike. It pumped and railed corners super hard. It was just a really zippy, fun, like dual slalom type feeling bike. You just felt like you just felt like you're riding like a bullet bike. It was really zippy and fun. What moved me away from it is I wanted to try some 29ers. My next bike after the 5010 was the actual Hightower, Santa Cruz Hightower. And I wanted to try some 29ers and spend more time on that. And I would be surprised if any of the 188 people in the chat right now have not ridden a 29er, but if you haven't, and you've been currently riding a 26 or 27.5, you owe it to yourself to ride a 29er. It's undeniable the difference that they make. It's just really, really good. Do I know anything about the new unreleased Hightower? Well, I think it's coming out like the very 1st of July. I think they're getting rid of the Santa Cruz Tallboy and the Hightower LT. I think they're gonna have one bike. So they'll have the Blur, and then the Mega Tower. I think they should call it the Tall Tower, personally, just to keep with the theme of everything. Get rid of the High Tower and the Tallboy and call it the Tall Tower. Oh, it's getting late and I'm becoming more dumb. Steve Boyle said, what do you think about the new Trust fork? You know what? I've ridden it. I rode the new Trust fork just around in the parking lot. So it's not, do not take what I have said. I mean, just take it with a grain of salt. It felt really harsh and felt kind of heavy. But the new Trust fork, it's like $3,000, man. How does that make sense for anyone? I mean, Jeff Kenneally can ride it and pimp it because He likely got his for free. Well, I'm sure he got his for free, but still, that's an expensive fork, dude. Trail features. Joseph with the Ripley versus the unicycle. Dude, unicycle. 8 days a week. Definitely. If you guys haven't seen Trail Features channel, go check it out. He's like a super good filmer guy. He's a funny guy. He's a down-to-earth guy, too. Dwight Robertson says, do you agree with Mo that the rear shock is a bit outmatched for the rest of the bike on the Ripley? No, heck no, I don't think so at all. That DPS shock is money. He doesn't like, the reason why I think Mo Awesome didn't like that shock is because I think he's sponsored by DVO. Like, he's a DVO guy, and so he wants the whole piggyback thing, and he wants to, that's the impression I got from spending a day with him. Super nice guy. The other thing is he always rides big bikes. He rides like 150, 160 mil travel bikes. So in his mind, he's thinking, well, yeah, I like the Ripley if I could turn it into like a Ripmo. Which, by the way, I just want to say this real quick. And I might take some heat for this, but most people, I don't know. It's probably not worth saying this, but I'll just say it. 100% of the time, the Ripley is better than the Ripmo 95% of the time, if that makes any sense. My point is the Ripley will be the better bike for most people over the Ripmo 95% of the time I go ride. So there might be 5% of the time I go out to ride a bike where I would say, man, I wish I had the Ripmo today instead of the Ripley. But all the rest of the time, I'll be like, dang, I'm really glad I'm on a Ripley today instead of a Ripmo. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. Let's see here. So hold on, I'm missing something here. Flying Tiger, what do you want me to say? Kennewy can ride the wheels off of anything? No doubt about it. That guy is unbelievable. Yeah, for sure. I think that's what I'm missing. I don't know. Let's see here. You're right. Okay. Niner is Boo. Okay. Okay, Albert is asking me, will I change out my SB100 for this Ibis? Yes, I am planning on buying a Ibis Ripley and selling my SB100. In fact, my SB100 is for sale officially right now. I just need to clean it up, take pictures of it, and post it on social media somewhere. Either a local classifieds or on my Instagram. But yeah, if you're interested in SB100, mine's for sale. And I put like 550 miles on the SB100, but on my actual SB100 that I own, if I go and check Strava, it'll tell me how many miles I've actually put on that bike, because I demoed the Yeti Betty for like 230 miles. Okay, so my SB100 has 233 miles on it only. It's because all my miles go on demo bikes. Okay, let's get back into the chat here. Dirt Bike says, true, I'm overbiked myself. Most people are on bikes bigger than they actually need. And the reason why they usually do it, most people buy a bigger bike than they actually need for their day-to-day riding, because on those days when you go ride the really gnarly trails or go to the bike park or to the ski lifts, go ride the lift service, you need that bigger bike. I get it. It makes sense. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, for Utah Wasatch back riding. Okay, so Max is saying for Utah Wasatch back riding, if one bike, what are you? I think English might be a second language. What bike would I choose if I could only have one bike? I love the Rocky Mountain Instinct, and this new Ibis Ripley, I think, might dethrone the Instinct. I think this Ripley is the bike to have. I'm pretty stoked on it. Okay, so that's why everyone's making fun of me, because what I was trying to say about the Ripley and the Ripmo, 60% of the time it works every time. Sex Panther Cologne. Dude, that show, that's from Anchorman. That show is so funny. Is the crashing dad in the house? Dude, what is up? Okay. Michael Glidewell says, how much for your SB100? I don't know. It's an XX1 build. It's dialed. NV cockpit. I don't know. Send me a private message if you're interested in my SB100. I don't want to give it away because it's like brand new. It's got 200 miles on it. Okay. Michael Larson says, how would you compare the Evil Reckoning to the SB150? It's been a long time since I've ridden the Evil Reckoning. It's been a minute. But, I mean, the SB100 or 150 that's the best big bike there is. It's better than the Firebird 29er. It's better than all the bikes. Take all the bikes, and they are not as good as the SB150. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. MTB Florida says, posted on Pink Bike. I'm super interested. Weight and size. My SB100 weighs 24 pounds without pedals and good tires. And it's the size medium. All my bikes are mediums. All right. Flying Tiger says, English is my second language. I'm American. Talk American to me. Okay, Lennox Rick says, is there anything I would upgrade on my Ripley V4? Would I go from a 130 to a 140? It depends on your trail systems. For me, if it was my only bike, yeah, I would upgrade the fork to a 140. Well, I would probably throw a pike on it too, because you get a 35 mil stanchion. I think it rides a little smoother than the Fox. But if it was my only bike, I'd probably put pike on it. I'd run 2 sets of wheels and tires, or at least tires for sure. Cross-country tires that are fast rolling, and then some bigger day, heavy, go smash stuff tires is how I would run that bike. That Ripley could be my only bike, and I would do it just like that. Well, my ice is melted. Okay, Jim Weisenstein says, not sure if this has been talked about already, but what was the comparisons to the Sniper, the Intense Sniper with the 120? Any thoughts on running the Ripley V4 with a 120 as a marathon bike? I wouldn't run it with a 120, in an effort to save weight, or I guess you could run the Stepcast fork at 120 at that point. But so Tyler and I are going to ride my buddy Tyler owns Intense Sniper Trail, and we're going to ride that back to back with the Ripley probably next week sometime. So it's coming, and I can give you we'll probably make a video or do something. I'll probably post it on Instagram too. Again, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram or follow me on Strava to get more real-time information about what bikes I'm riding, what I'm doing. Okay, let's scroll down in the chat here. Hey, Bike Steamboat, $10 super chat. Thanks, bro. I really appreciate that. He says, wham, bam, can of ham. We're out. Thanks for the channel and content. Guys, thank you for watching. This has been a long chat. Maybe we need to wrap it up here, but thanks for watching, you guys. You guys had great comments, and you kept us on track with the Instinct and a couple other bikes, so thank you. And thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you. All right, we're going to start wrapping this up, guys. I can't believe 186 people are still in here. Your wives are going to murder you. Let's give it a couple more minutes and we'll wrap it up. Could the Ripley be a good choice for moderate trails? Dude, yeah. That bike is all about flow trails and moderate type riding. Totally, 100%. What is the Ibis's fork offset? 44 is the offset of the fork that comes on that. Hey, there's Mo Awesome right there. What up, dude? You guys are probably sitting in a van somewhere. Yeah, fun riding with you too, bud. All right. I think we're going to call it a day. We had like almost 200 people in here all night, guys. That was so sick. Flying Tiger. Dude, thanks for coming in. Trail Features, thanks for moderating. Bill, thank you for moderating. Do I have someone else helping out moderate tonight? That's right, Michael Glidewell. Thank you all for moderating, keeping the chat clean. Hey, I know you guys want to talk more about Mormonism. Maybe that's a topic for another time. Mo Awesome can talk to you about Mormonism. Scott, sorry you missed most of it, man. We mostly just screwed around the whole time and didn't stay on topic at all. But hey, that's all right. Kurt says we can call the elders. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a live stream with the Mormon missionaries. They're going to teach you guys all a lesson about getting back to Jesus. All right, guys. Thanks for your participation. I had a fun time. If you guys like these things, hit the like button so that I know that we should do it more. Ideally, after I do a bike test ride and review video, the next day I'd love to do one of these chats. That way I don't have to spend so much time answering all the questions in the description, although I do try to answer most of them. But it takes hours to just answer everybody. And then I feel like I don't do it in like as meaningful enough way as I probably should. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.